I managed to find a little bit of time to do something with this locomobile engine. I've tried to get it running, it doesn't want to run, there's something wrong with the valve timing. I'm going to make a base to mount it on, because trying to get it running and trying to turn things, the chances of chopping your hand off are really, really high. So I want to make something that I can stand it on. I'll probably cut 2 little brackets out to go onto there. One there, one there. I've got some off-cut box section. One of them on there. And then the other end, I need something to go in there, but it's going to be cut out for that sprocket. It'll just rest on there, which means I can tip it up, lift it up, swing it out the road if I want to work on it. I don't want to take it to bits until I've actually had it running. Everything's worn, I know it's worn, but steam engines can stand where it will run. It hasn't got a flywheel, that's one issue, so it's not going to run nice and smooth, but it should run. I may even adapt the base and put a chain, because I've got some chain, make a sprocket, and see if I can put a flywheel on to make it run a lot smoother. Then we'll do some little drawings, cut some bits out for this, cut a bit out for that. Might as well use the plasma table, because we're up at the dirty, what I call the dirty workshop, where all the welding gear is. That's the plan. That's the engine number there. It's 2533 or 2539, 2533. This is sort of 1901, 1905 sort of era. It's quite an early one. The later ones had a band cast on the cylinder to make them stronger. But it's not really early on, because the really early ones had a bronze frame. This is like cast steel. There's nothing broken, nothing missing, it's complete, just worn out. All the bearings in here are ball races, so everything should be able to be sort of cleaned up, made to work again. I hope. I've had a look at the port faces, the port face is good. The one cylinder bore I looked at is good. So that's the plan, get it on a base, a lot safer to work on, get it washed off, and then start checking things out. That bit just been freshly cut, goes into there, it's warm. That just goes into there and it'll just lie in there. And then we've got the 2 little L brackets that are going to be going onto there, like that. All this needs is a quick flash with a grinder. It's really clean. It does like cutting this stuff. That's 6mm mild steel. It's in its element cutting that. Nice square edges as well. Really happy. So this is the original mounting point. Let's place this on there. I don't know if that would be Whitworth thread or UNC thread. It is American, so it could well be UNC. Right, so that's kind of put a little nip on that to hold that in place, and then I think it's going to be that one welded onto there like that. And probably the same at this end, not quite sure. I might just triangulate it, I don't know. I haven't decided. I might even put it that way up to give it more height so I can work on it, not sure. But I think that's going to be the way of it like that. We'll get that weld onto there first, and then we can decide what we're going to do with this end. But at least everything's up high now, and there's nothing going to get caught. And I've got that spanner I cut out so I can turn the crank without chopping my hands off. So it's looking better all the time. It's an obvious mistake here, the big end's going to twat off that, that's no good. We'll have to trim that down, and then I think possibly that onto there, the bastard, the big ends will clear that, and then we'll tie it all together, I think. But I'll have to mark that, just trim them off. I'm pleased I didn't weld anything onto it. The big ends are definitely going to spin round and clout that. So we'll mark it, cut that off, and then sort of regroup and then decide what I'm going to do. Right, that's better. I'll clear it now, loads of clearance to decide what to do with that. I found a bit of 40mm box section, that's going to go into there, and then just 2 bits up the side will do perfectly well. So we'll weld this into the centre of there. A little bit of MIG on that, all it needs. Tape measure, get it in the middle, weld it on, and then we're kind of ready to go. And if you look at that, I've tacked it on, and you can see it's just lined on one side. So I've put some weld on there, you can pull it up straight, pull it square, in theory. So when that weld cools, it'll pull it nice and straight, which it is doing. A little bit more. Okay, that's fine. That's all it needs. Right, I'm quite happy with how it is now. Like I say, I'll be able to lift this right up to work on it. Just going to put 2 bits of steel in there to make sure things are roughly square. 40. Spot on. Right, we can cut 2 at that length and then it should be good to go. Yeah, I've got them tacked in place. You see, we need all to be able to tip up so I can work on it. I may put a spring on there just to keep that down because it's kind of precariously balanced, but that'll not be a problem. Just to put a little tag on there and a spring just to hold that down. And I can extend this out and put a shaft in with a flywheel on once we get sort of a little bit further forward with it. I'll weld them, I think we'll go back into the garage and it's nice and clean, and have a little bit play, a little bit experiment, so I can sort this valve timing out. Right, I brought it down here, I've got it on the stand. I've spent a lot of time trying to set the valve timing up. My research says that the eccentrics are pressed onto the crank so they can't be moved. There was 2 split pins in this side that had been removed on new split pins, and the valve control rod on this side was loose. Now if you look down here, you can see that that valve rod there, that eccentric rod there, has got a bend in it. Now what I did, I swapped them over side to side. They'd been swapped over side to side. As soon as I did that and I set the valve stroke, it just burst into life on compressed air, and I'm like a dog with 2 cocks. I'm really pleased. I mean, it's noisy and rattly and badly worn, but there's nothing now that we can't fix. I'll plug the airline on and give you a little bit of a demo of it running. Right, let's see if we can make it go. What do you think of that then? I know what I think of it, I think it's wonderful. You can see there why I wanted to stand, because that will chop your hands off, that bastard. It's all knocks and rattles, but that's all sortable. I'm just pleased it's actually running. Quite a fearsome bastard thing it is. It's as good as I've seen any taken over on the internet. Reverse is instant. Once again, it's just time to say it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, please do. It is important, but as I keep on saying, nowhere near as important as recognising the symptoms for prostate cancer, mental health. I don't want to be all doom and gloom, but I've lost so many friends with prostate cancer. You need to go to the doctors, you need to get a test. Any sort of symptoms, don't ignore them, please lads. Get it sorted out, it'll save your life. It's as simple as that. Anyway, that's enough of me, and we'll see you on the next one.